Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a very sunny and blustery Ben on the Fence. Sorry, Freddie had disappeared on me. He's just legged it back. I hope you've all had a good week. It's been an extremely busy one, with it being the bank holiday. We've had to cram in 4 days of work into 5 days because the accounting departments never rest, they never stop. There's always work to be done. Plus there's a few people on holiday for half term, which adds extra pressure, doesn't it? And it's month end. But never mind, we get the job done. And I hope you have too. You see, the subject of today's live video was setting targets. And you may have seen me and some of the team sharing across the socials the last few weeks that in June we are doing a sponsored walk, basically. But it's across the month. So between the team, there's 9 of us. We're aiming to collectively walk the length of the UK. So Land's End to John O'Groats, which we looked at various statistics, and the one we've come up with is, and it's most common, 874 miles. So it works out about 3¼ miles a day each. Now some of us, I mean, I do come out for my daily walks, but even then I'm still clocking between 2 and 2½ miles, so I'm going to have to up my game. And some of the other rest of the team have such busy lives they don't get the opportunity to get out for a walk, so it's going to be a challenge. However, we've set ourselves a target and a goal, and there's a purpose, because we want to raise money for Dereham Cancer Care, who support people in the Dereham and surrounding areas who have had a cancer diagnosis, and also for their family members and friends who may need some support whilst maybe treatment is ongoing, or unfortunately a loved one or close friend has passed away. So we really want to help them. So that's the purpose. We've set the goal, £874, so £1 for every mile. And to reach that goal, obviously there's going to be an element of goodwill. People are going to donate. Some people, members of staff, will have a personal reason to make sure they hit their targets. But sometimes you have to incentivise to hit targets. So as a little added incentive, for every person in the team that does over 100 miles, Morphry Thyme will donate an extra £25. So we've potentially got another 225, 250 quid that will be added to the donation. So that's a little incentive. The other incentive is, if we get to the end of the month and we're pretty close, or we pass the target, the team will get a nice meal out as a reward. So we've got the purpose, we've got the target, and we've built some incentives in there. And it's no different when you're setting targets for your business. I've got a number of clients who we work with. We do the bookkeeping, do the payroll, and we help put together an end of year file. And I said to them, well, let's look at doing a forecast, let's look at doing a budget. Oh, I don't know what the sales are going to be. It's really difficult to do. Now I flip that around and I say, okay, you don't know what your sales are going to be, but you pretty probably much know what most of your costs are going to be. So let's map out your costs. That will then dictate what your break-even point is going to be, i.e. what the minimum amount of sales you need to do at your normal gross margin. We can then play around with that, increase it, so we can then work out, right, this is the target profit that I want to achieve for the year. So then you've then done that. You've got a purpose, which is how much profit do I want to make. You've got your targets and your budget set, so you know what you're aiming for. And then it's then a case of, right, how are we going to get there? So you can build your strategy, build in your rewards if you've got members of staff, for if they help you on the way to hit those targets. So a good example, the client we work with has got a few salespeople, and they have historically been rewarded on achieving a set turnover figure. is their reward. We have tweaked that slightly. There's going to be an element of gross margin contributing to that, but the team know that. They all strive for that because it all means they get bonuses and such like if they hit their targets on a monthly, quarterly or annually basis. So you're getting that side of the team to work hard. Maybe if you've got a production facility, you're a manufacturer, you might want to incentivize the staff. You might have, I don't know, a friend who works for a car garage, main dealer, and every job that comes in gets given a set time because they've quoted the insurer or the customer to do a job. They know how many hours are allocated to that job. So if that person, say, has got 3 hours to do a job and they do it in 2.5, well, there's half an hour there. They've saved the company effectively. And the company then shares that 50-50 with the employee in the form of a bonus. There's all different kinds of ways you can incentivise. But ultimately, as the business owner, you need to develop the overall strategy, which will be what you're going to do for your marketing, advertising, promotion. How are you going to bring the work in? What are you going to be doing to ensure that the company keeps going? Are you going to be out there at networking events? Are you going to be going knocking on doors, cold call salesman, or arranging appointments to go see people? Might be you arrange meetings with some of your key suppliers, negotiate some bulk discounts on the pricing. And then also it's making sure you're keeping on top of those numbers on a monthly basis, making sure there's no holes in the bucket. You're not leaking money where you shouldn't be spending. So I do that with a client every month. We look through and identify any new subscriptions that maybe someone's signed up to. Maybe they signed up for a trial of a piece of software and actually they've trialed it, don't want to use it, so they just don't use it, but they forget to cancel the subscription. And it might only be £15-20 a month. But if you don't keep on top of it, you could soon have 10, 15, 20 of those going out of your bank account, or quite often this on a credit card, so you probably don't notice it so much. So you could be leaking £400-500 a month when you don't need to. And I'll admit I was guilty of that about 18 months ago. I had 3 or 4 subscriptions costing me it was about £130 altogether. Again, where we signed up, we'd been using it on an ad hoc basis, but they weren't really fit for purpose, so we cut them out. So yeah, make sure you are setting some targets, some budgets, monitoring those, incentivising the team, creating your strategy, and then monitoring it, measuring it, and reporting back either to yourself, to your bookkeeper, your accountant, or to the rest of your team, your management, leadership, whatever it needs to be. But really keep yourself focused. And if you haven't set any targets or budgets, speak to us. We can help work on those with you. We've had a couple of clients recently who've approached us to help with that, which is really, really good. We have recently come to the end of a couple of large projects, helping some clients who were in a bit of a muddle, quite a number of months behind. We're now back on top of all of that, so we have got some capacity. So if you've been watching any of these videos and you're thinking, like what you're saying, Ben, but you're clearly quite busy, well, once we get into the month of June, we have some extra capacity. But don't forget, come September, we'll have even more capacity because we have our apprentice starting, and we also have Vicky coming back from maternity leave. So yes, it's exciting times. And hopefully, if you're watching, you can become a part of that. The other thing, before I go, because I don't know who will have watched right to the end here. If you have, fantastic. You are clearly the sort of person that would like to join me for a walk and a talk, either here on the Fen or at a location of your choice, because I'm really liking the idea of every Friday meeting up with someone. Doesn't have to be this time in the morning, could be lunchtime, could be the evening, and just having a chat. about either your career, your business, life in general, challenges that you're facing, successes, because we want to celebrate successes. Yeah, just drop me a message. Hopefully, if you know me, you've got my WhatsApp. If not, contact me on LinkedIn or via the info at email. Pick those up. So yeah, I'd love to have a few more guests. Got 2 booked, one next week, one week after. Let's get a few more lined up. Right. Got a busy day. 3 meetings, including, I don't know if I should say. I'm not going to say. Reveal more next week if it comes off. But quite an exciting meeting, mainly for my wife. Some people will know what I'm on about. Yeah, so it's going to be a busy day again. Not sure if Ben on the Fen will be back every day again next week. I know I've been a bit slack recently, but it's just been so busy. However, do need to get out and about and get these miles up, so hopefully I'll be back each day. In my words of wisdom, I don't know, maybe. I'll be definitely back on Friday. I hope you all have a lovely weekend. Looks like it's going to be like this, which is great. And I'll see you all again soon. Take care. Bye bye.